Welcome to the podcast, Narcissist, I'm Asking for a Friend. Karen Maldonado and Tyler King are talking about how narcissists become who they are, common issues that arise when doing life with a narcissist, and some episodes will include special guests. So listen in and learn from two people who have an abundance of experience on the subject.
Welcome to Narcissist, I'm Asking for a Friend, the podcast dedicated to helping you understand and navigate the complex dynamics of the relationships with the narcissist. Whether you've recently left such a relationship or are still in one and seeking clarity, this is the space for you. We're here to help you gain self-awareness and understand how these toxic traits can develop over time. Our goal is not to bash or vilify with the narcissistic tendencies, but to provide insight into their behaviors and, more importantly, to help you understand how and why you have allowed them to gain control over your life. From a compassionate Christian perspective, we want to assure you that you are not going crazy and you are not alone. So together, we will explore the nature of narcissism, offer support and guidance, and help you reclaim your peace and strength. Join us as we embark on this journey of healing and self-discovery and empowerment. And my name is Tyler King, and I have my friend Karen Maldonado. So we're here trying to help our viewers and listeners out with narcissism. And I know you had a great topic today that you wanted to go over and discuss. And I couldn't wait to hear about it because I said, oh, this is going to be good.
Yes, I would like to actually touch on the isolation that goes on with a narcissist and also the lying that happens. It's pretty pervasive in every aspect of their life, where they will lie if it works out to be for their benefit to do so. But then also the isolation part of it is they want to isolate that target person, whoever that is, if it's a spouse, if it's a friend, if it's a child, if it's a parent, right. Whoever it is, they want that attention to be really focused on them. Want other people to know about they're crazy. And so they will often try to isolate that person so they don't have anybody to talk to about it. So so that's what I think we should dig into today.
Okay, wow. Now, I really love that topic as far as isolationism, because, I mean, if you're thinking about it, you're in a relationship because you don't want to be isolated. So how does a person find themselves wanting to have companionship, wanting to be in a relationship and, and have that love and affection to ending up being in a situation where they can end up being totally alone? So, like, how does that happen? Does it happen gradually? Does it start at the beginning, like in the beginning of the relationship? Like, how far deep into it does it get to the point where these isolation type of tactics start to happen? And what can we do to guard against it?
It could be very different for each situation. So if you have, let's say, a narcissist that has had some type of trauma in the past that had to do with abandonment. And then let's just say the narcissist, we're going to do some hypothetical talking here. So let's say the narcissist is, dealing with that very deep wound, but now they've fallen in love to the extent that they're able to love and with someone, and they don't want to lose that person. So now they are actually very careful to make sure that the limitations that they place on that other person are the ones that this person's going to tolerate. So they kind of feel it out. It's like, okay, I don't really like her hanging out with that group of girlfriends, or I don't like him hanging out with that group of guy friends. So I'm going to, try to put my foot down here and tell them that how I feel about that. Well, a person that doesn't really want to tolerate possessiveness is going to say something right away.
Right.
Another person that maybe is very empathic and doesn't really know, doesn't even have maybe very good self-awareness to the fact that they allow other people to tell them what to do, especially if that person is maybe raised by someone that's controlling. So they're used to that, right? So now they
Yeah.
have this narcissist for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and that
Mm,
person's saying, I don't like this, I don't like that.
mm,
Meanwhile, in the back of their mind, the person that this is being told to may be saying, well, I don't really like that because I do want to be with my friends, but maybe
right.
once they get to know my friends, they'll feel different. So then they continue in this relationship and they placate to some of what the narcissist is saying. Maybe the
Mm,
narcissist is saying, I don't want you to go out with your friends tonight. Not
right.
everybody that has a complaint about a partner going out with their friends is wrong, but in the case of the narcissist, is about the control. For some people, it may be because they know that their significant other has a drinking problem and they don't want them going out with that friend because that friend causes there to be more trouble. So I'm not talking about that kind of a scenario. I'm just talking about strictly about a person that has narcissistic tendencies, very possessive, very controlling, and is trying to tell that person they don't want them to be with certain people that they've had in their lives. So
Right.
it
Oh,
may,
so these are people that they've already had established relationships with them prior to the narcissist even coming into their life, right?
absolutely. And then it's also possibly their family members. So
Mm,
the narcissist will slowly try to have an opinion and see how safe they are with revealing their true thoughts. Sometimes
right.
the sad thing that happens is the narcissist holds their cards very close to their vest and they
Right.
don't say these things until after they've gotten married to the person. Because
Ah,
now all the rules come out. Now all the fear that's involved, all the abandonment issues, all of that starts to come out. Some of it's abandonment, some of it's just competition. I want my wife, I want my husband to be just about me. I want to be number one in their life. And if they put anybody else in their life, then I can't possibly be number one because I'm not sharing. So
right. Huh.
yeah,
So is this where we hear that, and I know you've heard it and we've all heard it at some point. They said they were this way, and then after we got married, they completely changed or flipped the
exactly.
script or whatever word they use or phrase they use. So,
Absolutely.
that's honestly a little scary, Karen. That's kind of scary because that means you're telling me that someone can put up a good show, a good act or front for a time, and then until they get married to you, and I guess the question is, Karen, how do you avoid that? Because nobody wants to walk down the aisle, think that it's going to be happily ever after, just to find out it's going to be the exact opposite.
Right.
Um,
No, you're
so
right.
how do
So
you guard against that?
most of the people that have told me it got so bad as soon as we got married, I will ask this question.
Okay.
Were there any red flags?
Ooh.
And they will say to me, yes, they were. There were. But sometimes I ignored them.
Mm.
Figured it would get better after marriage. So
Ooh.
it
So
doesn't
they
get
had
better after marriage. If they're
they,
already
they
showing the red flags, they're coming. They're coming more and more.
so what you're saying is if they're showing red flags, it's only going to get worse from there, because I want our viewers and listeners to understand. So all of you in there, I want you to comment, put your questions in the chat, because I know this is probably going to stir some things up and spark some things in you to ask, and we want you to ask it now so that we can start answering these questions for you, on the podcast, on YouTube, wherever you are. Like, would a red flag be well, all of a sudden you had this friend, and then now all of a sudden maybe they just have all these negative things to say about the friend, like maybe
That's a
when
very
you
good example. That came to my mind right away when you said what are some.
okay,
It's
perfect.
picking apart your ability to pick good friends. And if it's
Mm,
family members, it's picking apart your family members, making fun of them, or not in front of them, maybe, or
mhm.
it could happen that way too, but behind their back and saying, a lot of negative things to almost make the person feel like they're foolish for spending so much time with them. Um, You know, it could be, you know, a young man or a young lady that, you know, has a very close family unit. And now this person that's the narcissist did not have that.
Mm,
Possibly, right? Did not have that, especially
right.
the one that felt like they had to fend for themselves.
Oh,
And
of course.
so narcissists do not want to be in a relationship with someone where they're so close to their family that the narcissist can't be number one in their life because this person wants to go to the family at least once a week to, you know, just be together. They don't want
Right.
that. They're not used to that and they don't want it. They don't really want to share this person. This person's supposed to be all about them. So
Right.
that's one red flag. Yeah, just, you know, are they charismatic around a lot of people when it
Mhm.
suits them? But then when they're with your friends and your family, they kind of are quiet. They have an angry face. They have this look on their face that, you know, when you get home, you're going to hear about it. And,
Wow.
you know, it kind of makes you feel like, do I really want to go through this? Do I want to bother myself with this grief that I have to go through every time I get together with my family or my friends? So then the person starts to back off seeing their family and friends. As long as they're going to continue on in this relationship with the narcissist, they back away. And oftentimes you'll hear family members of this person say, you know, we think this guy's a narcissist. We used to see
Right.
our daughter or our son all the time, and now they never come around. And we know it's him, it's not her. She used to love to be with us, or he used to love to be with us. And
Right.
it makes us sad, and I know it makes her sad, but she, you know, she loves him or he loves her. And so that's the nature of it. So it's a hard thing. It's hard on the family, it's hard on you know, it's hard on the person that is trying to have this relationship with the narcissist. So that's a red flag for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, it's so you know, unfortunate to hear that, because now this person has basically, would you say they're now losing themselves in a way, or losing their identity, because now um they're spending less time with the people that they normally spend time with, the
Absolutely.
things that they used to enjoy doing, the friends they used to enjoy hanging out with. It's almost like their identity is changing and they're losing a part of who they are. And are they now like becoming one with the narcissist, or what's actually happening if the empathic person, or the person that's on that other side of it, does not realize what's going on? Like, what is happening within that person? What's going on in their mind, their body, physically? You know, what's happening with them?
Right. Well, they're under a lot of stress. They're sad. They
Mhm.
want to be with their family too. But there's this new relationship that they think they want. They're not
Mhm.
counting all the costs, though, of being in that relationship. They're not realizing that if it's like this right now, it's going to be like this forever. So I've got to make a choice to,
Right.
you know, choose what do I really want. And, you know, simple red flags are things like, you know, we talked about them when we talked about how to spot a narcissist, you know, when you're dating.
Right.
Are they, you know, giving you a chance to have an opinion about where you go out to eat or where you go
Mhm.
to spend the day? And, you know, if they're all about bike riding, but you happen to like hiking, you know, are they giving you the opportunity to say, well, you know, we went bike riding last weekend, let's go hiking today. No, I think let's do this, because then, you know, they'll make an excuse for what they want so that it always gets manipulated back to what they want. So
Right.
are they caring about the person that they're with enough to ask them what they want and give them what they want?
So would they even go to the point as to criticize or scrutinize the things that they enjoy to do, like they enjoy doing,
Oh yeah.
just for the sake of them maybe even not bringing it up again, or to the point where they try to convince them that it is actually stupid, or why do they like doing that? Like, let's say if you're a person that likes to go to Broadway shows or plays and they don't, and they're like, oh, well, that's stupid. Like, why do you even like going to Broadway shows? Like what do they do in that instance? So like, let's say maybe they like, you know, to go to football games or something like that. And you may want to go to a theater or a play or something. So this kind of person wouldn't have the give or take. It would always be they're sick, or they come up with an excuse or something like that. What do they do? Like whenever you say, "Oh, let's go to this play or let's go to this show," what would they say? Like, give me how that would run.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times it would be like subtle things that build. So it could be that this
Right.
person likes sports and doesn't like the opera and musical
Yeah.
things or anything like that. So at the beginning, it might be, let's just sit here and watch the ball game. Let's sit down
Right.
with the Cubs together, and they're my favorite team. And so then, if it's a female that is the person that's dealing with this person, then she would say, okay. So then she complies, because usually very compliant people in the beginning
Right.
that the narcissist is attracted to. And
Mhm.
then after that's over, then she might turn on a show that she likes to watch. Oh, I love this show, let's watch this. Then he's
Right.
like, kidding me, this is so ridiculous, this is the kind of stuff that you watch. And then she might be embarrassed about it, and then she might be like, well, I said sometimes I like it, so she might talk it down a little bit just because she's embarrassed now. And then
Right.
yeah, let's see what else is on. And then they flip the channel around, and then and maybe she's like, oh, I see the opera or the ballet or something on the, let's look at that. It's like, what? Try to make them feel foolish for what that is about. And then it could be a matter of her saying, him asking, what do you want for your birthday? And then saying, well, I know you don't really like the opera, but I love it. So how about tickets to the opera? Oh my
Right.
gosh, are you kidding me? So it's just a lot of pushback when it comes to things. Or he might make a promise that that's what they're going to do, and then last minute gives her a birthday card with tickets in it for the ball game.
Right. Oh wow. So
So
they don't even have the empathy or the care or
no,
concern to even give you something that you would like. So that the love languages, that doesn't even matter. They are going to do what they think. Like if they give
yes.
you a card, instead of giving you a card that you would like, they give you a card that they like,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not for them and it's for you. So
Right.
I'll give you an example. You know how you've seen like some of those cartoonish cards, and then you see some of those maybe scriptural cards, or you have maybe really sentimental cards. So maybe you're the type of person that likes the sentimental or the scriptural cards, and then they're always giving you cards that are like funny cards or cartoonish
Mm-hmm.
type cards.
Mm-hmm.
So they like totally disregard what you like
Right.
and just get what they want.
Right. And even when it's a day that's supposed to be about you, usually
Right.
because they want the focus and the spotlight to be on them all the time, they
Right.
will oftentimes disregard special days to that person, for that person, by not giving a card or not recognizing,
Mm.
or saying, oh, I forgot. And then, but meanwhile, they didn't really forget. They purposely wanted to create drama. So that's the thing for the narcissist. It's, let's see how we can create drama. And so then the person that's offended because
Right.
he or she hasn't received a card or even an acknowledgement, did you remember today's my birthday? And they'll be like, oh, I forgot. And then if you look like you're sad, then it's the spotlight comes off the complaint that they forgot your birthday, and it gets on, oh, you're such a drama queen, or you're such a drama king. And
Right.
people forget all the time. And a lot of times it is done purposely. It's done because they want to see the reaction.
And is it that they are just notorious for wanting to sabotage special occasions, or it's just about that feeding of the ego, and they want to just get all the attention and make it about them and see the reaction from you as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. You might see it happens even in families. Like I'll notice in certain families that there's a wedding, there's a bride and a
Mm-hmm.
groom, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's one of the mother-in-laws that's the
Mm-hmm.
narcissist. So she's got to make it all about her. She's
Wow.
so jealous of the other family. So
Right.
she made sure that she arranged for the photography to be done by her. She ordered the photographer. She got
Right.
all that going because she wanted to make sure the photographer knew don't take too many pictures of the other side of the family. No one likes
Oh,
them.
wow.
That kind of thing. Like they can be very conniving and very calculated when it suits them for whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's jealousy. And then also they don't mind making drama
Mhm.
when it comes to special occasions like that, because it's really supposed to be about them, not about the bride or the groom. It's supposed to be about them. And so
Right.
what can I do so that I get noticed? And it could be any number of things, honestly, but you know,
Wow.
people that are used to that will, because they know, well, my mom is a narcissist, so I know I'm gonna have drama at my wedding. They try to prepare themselves for it, which is why
Ah,
there's some
mm.
people that put up such a high boundary that they say, no contact. I'm not inviting that person to my wedding. I don't care if it's my mother. I don't care if it's my father. I don't care. I'm not
Wow.
allowing them to create the drama. Um,
That's right.
yeah.
Wow.
So some
And
people choose no contact.
so that type of so you have to, it sounds like you have to make a decision. You either have to decide, okay, this is what I want to deal with or live with, or this is, I'm going to try to navigate around this person, I guess walking on eggshells, or you can have limited to no contact for boundaries, I guess, for your own mental and self-care, just to kind of make sure that they don't drive you crazy, right?
Mhm.
So, and what happens if you continue to push back on the isolation? Let's say you're this type of person and maybe you were putting up with it for a little while, and then now you're saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like you've probably been putting up with it for years,
Mhm.
and you're like, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. What ends up happening? How do they, I guess for lack of better words, punish you for now
Exactly.
changing up the dynamic?
It's exactly what happens is punishment. So punishment in that case will, look any number of ways. I think the thing that the person that's the victim of the abuse, this is abuse, it's emotional abuse.
Yes,
What that
yes.
person needs to do is have very strong boundaries that they put up. Then at that point, if you do not want to come and see my family with me, that's fine. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
and then that person will it could be any number of ways that they would punish them. I mean,
Right.
you know, situations that I've heard, you like if the person, I know one situation where a person went to a hospital to see an ailing parent, and
Mm-hmm.
the narcissist was so upset that the person that was the target person was giving more attention to the ailing person than to them, and
Right.
wound up a rage in the car on the way home, to the point that that person threatened that they would break the ribs of the other person if they did not back down and say they knew they were wrong.
Oh,
Narcissists
wow.
demand apologies.
Yeah.
And
And
mhm,
sounds like it can get pretty, it can escalate to a whole nother level of, we talked about the emotional abusive part of it, but you can enrage them to the point where it could turn physical if you're not careful, right?
it can. Not every narcissist does get physical, but
Mm-hmm.
some do. And so being very careful, to make sure that the person that you are dating is not ever physical in any way with you is
Right.
definite, because if they are in any way, that's a red flag. If that's the way they're going to be when they're supposed to be on their best behavior dating, you can
Right.
much suspect that it's going to happen in marriage.
Ooh. So would you say another, like, I want to make sure I get another red flag in that, because it just came to me and I started thinking about it. Are they the type of people that make a big deal? Like, let's say maybe you have a type of job, or like whatever it is that you do, business or job, and maybe you need to like check emails, or maybe even you have kids and you got to keep up with stuff because everything's done electronically, right? So you have to check emails, you may be checking social media for certain things, you have to check phone calls, text, you got to return these things timely. How does a narcissist act if they see you, basically doing things that people would normally do, like all those things I just mentioned? Do they try to guilt trip you just
Yeah.
because you're
Well, it's
trying?
about them. You're making it about the job now, and the job's more important than them. in their thinking. So if they have an abandonment issue, anytime that your focus is off of them, that's the scary part for them, and they don't want to see it, and they get angry about it. So they want to put your focus back on them. And so a lot of times people that are with a narcissist will back down, say, okay, oh yeah, I can wait till later. I'll just do it later. And then make the focus about them. And then that person falls asleep finally, and then they can finally get their emails done, finally get some of the stuff done that they had to get done. But it's all about placating to the wants of that person. As long as you're going to be living with them, you want to be the peacemaker. Otherwise, it's a lecture or a rage that you've got to go through. And some rages can last 2 and 3 hours. It just depends on the person.
And how disruptive can this be to your personal, professional life? If you're running a business, can a narcissist potentially sabotage, everything from your personal, professional, whatever it is in your life, where they can just make it to the point where I don't know, that you can almost lose all the things that you've built up, relationships you've built up.
Oh yeah. They don't mind lying. Remember, now we're talking too about lying, right? So they'll tell lies to common friends that they all both have. They'll say that this is what this one's doing, this is what this one's doing. She's so selfish. She's a narcissist. They'll even say, or she's a narcissist, and so they'll be very, very what's the word? They'll just twist it. They'll twist it so that everything that they're actually guilty of is what they will tell other people.
So is it like projecting, like that, like they're trying to, I don't know, or deflecting, I can't remember what the right word is. So basically all the things that they do, then they try to say that you're the one doing it, is basically what's happening?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. In not every case, but in many cases that does happen. And then if they also feel threatened that you are going to leave them because now you're tired of this,
right,
they often will begin, it's one of two things can happen. They may begin to hoover you back and act so good, the love bombing, the putting, you first, doing all the things that they should have been doing all along.
Right.
Trying to get you back and to stop thinking about leaving and that kind of thing. Right. But once you think, okay, well, things have gotten better, I guess this is good, then they show their true selves again. So they can't stick with that. They'll do it because there's a secondary gain. I got to get her back, or I got to get him back. And once it happens, then nope, then it all goes back to the way it was.
So this is going to be the main thing I want to kind of wrap it all up, is from what it sounds like you're saying is that if they do that and that's their tactic, it sounds like they know what they're doing, because if they can all of a sudden start acting the way how they should have been all along, that tells you that they are aware to a degree of what they're doing, and it's not accidental. It's not, oh, I didn't, no, it's what they're doing is intentional, it's calculated, and that they will return back to that behavior. Because honestly, what would prevent them? So this is for the person that's saying, oh, they're going to change, or every time they keep doing that, well, they always seem to come back and start to act nice, and then, things get better. What can you help the listeners and viewers that are watching, and help them to understand that this is just going to be a continual cycle, and that it's really almost like it will never end. It's like a never-ending cycle of madness. I don't know, however you want to describe it.
Right. So here's the thing. I mean, we're Christians. We're talking about having a Christian perspective. And I know that God can heal cancer. He can heal headache. And all those things they matter to him.
Yes.
And also the narcissist matters to him.
Yes.
There's physical illness in people that have cancer and headaches, but there's also mental illness in people that are narcissists or borderline or bipolar, or whatever the situation is. So there's mental illness. Can God heal? I believe he can. Have I seen it a lot? No. Why haven't I seen it a lot? Well, I think specifically for narcissists, the reason why you don't is because narcissists don't have good self-awareness to know that they are the trouble. They are the one that needs to repent, basically. And
Right.
that's where the struggle is. Other disorders, there's more self-awareness, and then they're, being able to say, yeah, you're right. A person that's got, loaded with anxiety may blow off the handle and yell at their family and be unreasonable. And then they may sit down later on and say, I know I overreacted. I know I shouldn't have done that. And they'll apologize. Person with narcissism, that's rare. If they, would diagnose completely as narcissistic personality disorder. Now, I did say the other day that we all have some level of narcissism. We all have to take care of ourselves, right? We do have to have a level. So we do care for ourselves. And so when I say that, I'm not saying that we all walk around with this, bad attitude. I'm just saying that we do have to care for ourselves. It's just part of, the human condition. We have to do that. But these people have a hard time being caring of other people while they're caring for themselves. And so, it's definitely something where, they're left with so little self-awareness that they don't see a lot of times that what they're doing is wrong.
Right. Almost sounds like they're almost incapable of understanding the damage and the depth of the hurt and the pain that they're causing the other person, because they're so consumed with themselves. They're number one. So it's all about how they feel. So yes, you're right. I do, because yes, like you said, coming from the Christian perspective, it's there is a level of, you have to have that confession of understanding, to know that, hey, I did something wrong here. I'm wrong in this situation. But if the person never feels like they're ever wrong, it's like, how do you get healing? Because there's no acknowledgement.
Right. And no validation for the pain that they cause. When somebody hurts us, when they say later on, they say, I'm sorry, I should have never done that. That kind of helps us to be like, okay, well, they recognize that what they did was wrong, so I can forgive that. But these people don't like to apologize. Most of them don't ever apologize. There are some that do, but it's not usually the important things that they'll apologize for. They'll apologize for something that wasn't really the thing. They'll apologize for things if there's a secondary gain, basically. Let's say they get caught in an affair. They'll apologize at first, but then they'll also find reasons to find fault with their partner. Well, I would have never done that if you were doing this. So, it's that kind of thing. They will do maybe an immediate apology, especially if they're scared of abandonment. They know that little time has gone by. They'll also make excuses for themselves.
Wow. Well, they even go as far as to cry and to like start acting like, oh my gosh, like I can't talk about this anymore. This is too much. And, they start going into like these theatrics almost. And, when you're kind of calling them out on the things that they're doing. And is that like a way of guilt tripping, the empathetic or the person in the relationship, that person?
Yeah.
So they can maybe stop talking about it, or,
Yes, they'll use two things. They'll use drama, so they'll cry, or they'll use anger. Anger will be used in order to make the person feel like they better shut up because this is getting overboard and I'm just too tired. So they'll use anger to shut that person up.
Isn't that something? So I'm so glad that we brought this up, because I feel like we have touched on so many things, and this is going to help people to really see, is this happening in my relationship? Is this what's been going on the whole time? And like you said, we're here. We're Narcissists. I'm asking for a friend. So we want you to comment. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell people about this, because you know what? There are people out there, Karen, that are suffering from this. They do not even know. Sometimes they don't even know what's going on, what's happening. They just know that they've just seen these outbursts of behavior. They can't put it together as what it is. They feel like they're losing their mind and going out of their mind. And they feel isolated. They know that the person's been lying to them, but then the person's trying to make them feel like they're going, out of their mind when they call them on it. So, hopefully all these things that we've talked about and shared is, at least sparking some kind of, like questions, maybe helping you to see things that you hadn't seen before, that you never thought about. So yeah, so please just make sure you tune in. And Karen, do you have any final words for the viewers? Anything that you want to share with them while we're going out today?
One thing I do want to make clear is that Tyler and I will never tell anyone that they should leave a relationship. That's got to be between you and God.
Yes.
And so, living in a relationship with a narcissist can be very sad, very anxiety provoking,
Yes.
and it can be very abusive. I would say if you are in trouble, you're in an abusive situation, you need to get help. You need to get out of that situation. You need to find people that love you, that aren't narcissists, that will help you through a plan to separate from that person. But never ever will you hear Tyler or I say that you should go get yourself a divorce. You'll never hear us say that.
No.
That's totally got to be between you and God. So hopefully for you, the listener, you're not going through something that severe. Hopefully it's more you just needing to have some better ideas of what it is that you're dealing with so that you can navigate through it better. And of course, we are going to be praying for you as we receive messages from you. We will also be responding back either in the podcast itself or in writing in comments.
Yes, definitely. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap up for now, but just know that we are the Narcissists. I'm asking for a friend podcast, and Karen and I, we will be back with you in our next episode. Make sure you tune in, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. See you soon.
Bye.